Hi, and thanks for logging on to the Daily DVAR HaLacha. And here's a brand new HaLacha for us for Thursday, 26th day of December, 28th day of Kislev. I want to give you today the rundown on how to light your candles on Friday afternoon, which leads into Shabbos. Usually your candles should be lit somewhere around the nightfall area, which, let's say for Baltimore here, that's like 5:30-ish in the evening, and they have to last for half an hour until half an hour after nightfall. Well, you can't do that on Erev Shabbos because you're not allowed to be lighting any lights, of course, when it's already Shabbos. So, using Baltimore as my example, that's where I'm sitting. Candle lighting time for Shabbos is about 4:30. So, somewhere around 4:30 in the afternoon is the opportune time to be lighting your Chanukah candles. Chanukah candles first, then your Shabbos candles lit. Okay, but they're supposed to stay lit until a half an hour after nightfall. So that means, using Baltimore as the example, that's where I'm sitting, I'm using my times here. That would mean that you have to light your candles at about 4:30 in the afternoon, and your candles have to stay lit all the way until 6 in the evening, if you can manage to do that. So Friday, Erev Shabbos, is one of those times when you really have to note carefully that your menorah has enough oil or large enough candles to last for an hour and a half approximately, so that you can light them at the candle lighting time before the candle lighting of Shabbos, and so they can last about an hour and a half all the way until it's nightfall, a half an hour after nightfall in your area. So fill up your cups really high. You might want to make your wicks, if they're in oil, not so thick so they don't burn up some of the oil so fast, as long as some lights are lit all the way until a half an hour after nightfall. If you're using candles, you can't use those teeny weeny, skinny, old-fashioned candles, not the short ones, because they don't last for an hour and a half. And even if you're using tall candles, make sure that they're not so close to each other that they're melting each other down and none of them have a chance of making it for an hour and a half. You're supposed to light your candles such that they have a good shot of lasting until an hour and a half when you're lighting them on this Friday afternoon. If you are using candles and they're a little bit closely spaced together, you might want to use the trick of freezing them first so that they're good and nice and cold, and that might give them a little longer lasting time. Okay, if you come home from shul and you're like, oh no, they didn't all make it, they didn't all go for that full hour and a half, you really only have to have one, not the shamash by the way, but one of your lights make it until half an hour after nightfall, and then you have really perfectly fulfilled the mitzvah. Even if they didn't make it, but you set it up such that they could have made it, in other words, you did a proper lighting, but bad luck and they blew out, you still fulfilled the mitzvah. If you put them in a very windy area where they couldn't have lasted, then no, you didn't fulfill the mitzvah properly. But if you lit them properly, everything was right, you set them far apart, and for some reason they just didn't make it, you still fulfilled the mitzvah because you lit them properly. Okay, thanks for logging on, and log on again tomorrow for more. Bye-bye.